My girlfriend started losing her engagement ring at convenient times, like when we'd run into her ex at the grocery store. She'd slip it off and say, "I must have forgotten to put it on." I started forgetting to pay her phone bill. Now she can't call anyone to explain why she's actually single. Hey viewers, real quick, only 8% of you watching are subscribed, and the channel's kind of stuck right now. If you enjoy these stories, hitting that subscribe button would really help us keep going. Thanks. The first time I caught her, it was subtle. We were grabbing dinner at a local bar when Emma went to wash her hands, right after spotting an ex-coworker she'd always talked about. I noticed her ring finger was suddenly bare when she returned. When I pointed it out, she gasped dramatically. "Oh, I must have taken it off to wash my hands and forgotten to put it back on." She hurried back to the bathroom, returning with the $3,800 engagement ring safely back on her finger. A simple mistake, right? That's what I thought, until it happened again, and again, and again. It became a pattern too consistent to ignore. Her 2-carat diamond would mysteriously disappear whenever we ran into her ex at the grocery store, met up with her single girlfriends for drinks, attended parties where she didn't introduce me to everyone, visited her old college campus. Each time, the same theatrical gasp and excuse. Sometimes it was, "I was doing dishes and forgot to put it back on." Other times, it must be at home on my nightstand. Once, ridiculously, my fingers were swollen today, so I left it at home. But it was always on her finger when we were with my family, our mutual friends, or anyone who knew us as a couple. I'm not an idiot. I know what it means when your fiancée only wears her engagement ring around certain people, but I wanted proof before confronting her. I needed to be sure. So I started paying attention, taking mental notes, documenting patterns. I'm thorough like that. Emma and I had been together for 3 years, engaged for 6 months. We were planning a spring wedding, about 8 months away. She'd moved into my place a year ago, and I'd added her to my phone plan since her contract had ended and mine had better coverage. It was one of several bills I covered while she saved for our future. Technically, I could check her call and text logs as the primary account holder, but I respected her privacy. I wasn't going to stoop to that level. Besides, I didn't need to. Her behavior told me everything. The breaking point came during what was supposed to be a romantic weekend away. We were having dinner at a nice restaurant when Emma excused herself to the bathroom. As she walked away, I saw her slip the ring off her finger and into her purse. 10 minutes later, she was at the bar, chatting with some guy while I sat at our table alone. When she returned ringless, I asked the question directly. "Where's your engagement ring?" The familiar performance began. "Oh, I must have forgot." "No," I interrupted calmly. "You took it off before you went to the bar. I watched you put it in your purse." Her face went through several expressions: shock, embarrassment, anger, and finally a forced laugh. "Don't be ridiculous. Why would I do that?" "That's exactly what I'm wondering," I replied, keeping my voice steady. "Why would my fiancée deliberately hide the fact that she's engaged?" "You're overreacting," she said, dismissing me with a wave. "Sometimes I take it off when my fingers feel swollen. It's not a big deal." "Then why lie about it? Why not just say, 'I took it off because it was uncomfortable'?" She had no good answer for that. The rest of the weekend was tense. We went through the motions, but something had broken. I spent the 5-hour drive home planning my exit strategy. I believe in consequences. Direct, proportional consequences. Not screaming matches or dramatic scenes, just cause and effect. When we got home, I didn't confront her again. I didn't issue ultimatums or demands. Instead, I took a different approach. First, I logged into my phone account and removed her line from my plan, effective at the end of the billing cycle. Then I called my bank and removed her as an authorized user on my credit card, the one she used for emergencies. I also began moving my important documents and irreplaceable items to a safe deposit box. For the next 2 weeks, I acted normal. Pleasant, even. Emma seemed to think our confrontation at the restaurant was forgotten. She wore her ring consistently during this time, probably because she sensed something was off and was trying to reassure me. Then, right on schedule, her phone service was disconnected. "My phone's not working," she said, frowning at her screen. That's strange," I replied, not looking up from my book. "Must be a service outage." The next day, she was more concerned. "I still don't have service. I can't make calls or use data unless I'm on Wi-Fi. That's odd. Did you call customer service? I tried, but I can't get through because my phone's not working. Right, catch-22. You could use my phone to call. She did, and after a brief conversation with customer service, she turned to me, eyes wide. They said I'm not on the account anymore. That can't be right. I finally looked up. No, that's right. I removed your line when I saw you taking off your engagement ring to flirt with other men. Her jaw dropped. You did what? I forgot to pay your phone bill, I said calmly. Kind of like how you forget to wear your engagement ring around other men. That's completely different, she spluttered. Is it? You conveniently forget you're engaged when it suits you. I conveniently forgot to pay for the phone you use to text God knows who when I'm not around. You had no right to. I had every right, I cut in. It's my account. My credit card is linked to it. Just like it's your finger and your choice whether to wear the ring I bought you. We all make choices, Emma. The fight that followed was nuclear. She called me controlling, paranoid, insecure. I remained calm, which only infuriated her more. When she finally ran out of steam, I delivered the real bombshell. I think we should postpone the wedding. She froze. What? I said, I think we should postpone the wedding. Indefinitely. Because of a stupid misunderstanding about my ring? No, because you've been deliberately hiding the fact that you're engaged when it's convenient for you. That tells me you're not ready for marriage. Maybe you never will be, at least not with me. You're ending our engagement over this? She asked, tears starting to form. I'm acknowledging what you've already been signaling for months. You take off your ring to appear single when it benefits you. I'm just making that status official. She switched tactics immediately, moving from anger to pleading. I love you. I want to marry you. It was just, I don't know why I did it. It was stupid. We can work through this. Maybe we could have, if you'd been honest the first time I caught you. Or the 5th time. But you kept lying, kept doing it. That's not a mistake, it's a pattern. What am I supposed to do about my phone? She asked, changing subjects. Get your own plan. You're an adult. And where am I supposed to live? I hadn't expected that question so soon, but I was prepared. You have 30 days to find a new place. I've already drawn up a formal notice. I handed her the document my lawyer had prepared. She stared at the paper in shock. You've been planning this. Since I watched you take off your ring to flirt with a stranger while I sat alone at our table? Yes, I've been planning this. The next month was tense. Emma oscillated between crying, pleading, yelling, and ignoring me completely. She called me heartless for not giving her a second chance. I reminded her that I'd given her multiple chances, each time she forgot her ring and then lied about it. Her friends started calling me. I didn't answer. Her mother called, distraught about the canceled venue deposits. I explained my reasons calmly and completely. To my surprise, her mother actually paused. She's always been like this, she finally said. Always wanting to keep her options open. That validation from her own mother confirmed I was making the right decision. Emma found an apartment within 2 weeks, though she dragged her feet on actually moving out. The day before her 30-day notice expired, she made one last attempt at reconciliation. I've been seeing a therapist, she announced over dinner. I've been working on my issues. I understand now why I was taking off the ring. And why was that? I asked, genuinely curious. I have a fear of commitment stemming from my parents' divorce. I was subconsciously sabotaging our relationship. It sounded rehearsed, like something from a self-help book or a therapy session that she'd twisted to suit her needs. That's great self-awareness, I said. I hope it helps you in your future relationships. Her face fell. So you're really going through with this, after 3 years together? Yes. Some trust once broken can't be repaired. I don't trust you anymore, Emma. I don't trust that you're committed to me. I don't trust that you're faithful. And without trust, there's no foundation for marriage. She moved out the next day, taking only her personal belongings. She tried to take a few items we'd purchased together, including our 65-inch TV, but I firmly reminded her that I had receipts for everything in my name. I sold the engagement ring through a reputable consignment jeweler, got about 60% of what I'd paid for it, which was better than I expected. I used some of that money to take a solo trip I'd always wanted to do, but Emma had never been interested in. A week after she moved out, I got a text from an unknown number. Emma, with her new phone service. I left some mail at the house, and my winter coat is still in the closet. When can I come get them? I boxed up her remaining items and left them with the front desk at her new apartment building. No contact necessary. Then I blocked her new number. 3 months later, my buddy Jason ran into Emma at a club. According to him, she was with a group of friends, no ring on her finger, obviously, complaining loudly about how I'd overreacted to her, occasionally forgetting to wear her engagement ring. You should have heard her version of events, man, Jason told me the next day. According to her, you tracked her phone, controlled her finances, and flipped out over nothing. I almost didn't recognize the person she was describing. That's how it goes, I said. Everyone's the hero in their own story. The crazy thing is, Jason continued, halfway through her rant, some guy came over and put his arm around her. She introduced him as her boyfriend, said they'd been together for 2 months. I did the math. That would mean she started dating this guy barely a month after moving out. So much for the heartbreak and therapy. 6 months post-breakup, I was having dinner with mutual friends when the topic of Emma came up. Apparently, she'd moved in with the new boyfriend already. Didn't waste any time, did she? One friend commented. The funniest part, another added, is that she's been posting these anniversary pics celebrating 3 amazing months together. Everyone who knows the timeline is like, wait, weren't you still engaged to Matt 3 months ago? I just shrugged. Not my circus, not my monkeys. A year later, I ran into Emma at a coffee shop. She was alone, staring at her laptop. I could have easily avoided her, but I decided to be an adult about it. I nodded politely as I passed her table. To my surprise, she called out my name. I paused. How are you? She asked, seeming genuinely curious. I'm good, I replied. You? Good, really good. Working at a new company now, living downtown. I noticed she didn't mention the boyfriend. The absence was conspicuous. That's great, I said, ready to move on. Listen, she said, stopping me. I've been wanting to tell you. You were right. About the ring, about everything. I wasn't ready. I'm sorry for how I handled things. I hadn't expected that. I appreciate you saying that. Do you think maybe we could grab coffee sometime, catch up properly? And there it was. The real reason for the apology. A foot in the door. I don't think that would be a good idea, I said gently. I wish you well, Emma, but that chapter's closed. Her face fell slightly, but she nodded. I understand. Take care, Matt. As I walked away, I felt a weight lift that I hadn't even realized was still there. No anger, no resentment, just nothing. Complete indifference. The phone bill thing, it wasn't about revenge, not really. It was about consequences, showing her directly how it felt to have someone forget an important commitment. The fact that it left her temporarily unable to contact potential hookups while I executed my exit plan was just a bonus. Some might call my response cold or calculating. I call it self-preservation. When someone shows you who they are, especially when they show you repeatedly, believe them. Emma showed me she wanted the benefits of being engaged without the commitment. I showed her what life looked like without those benefits. Simple cause and effect. The ring she kept forgetting? It funded a 2-week hiking trip through Patagonia that I'd always wanted to take. Best investment I ever made. And now, when people ask if I'm seeing anyone special, I don't forget to mention my new girlfriend. She never forgets she's with me, and I never forget how lucky that makes me.